Welcome to a Vanguard news video without the bullshit. Let's get started. We got a bunch of cards revealed today, so no time to do the obligatory Vanguard Zero news rant, since at this point the game is bleeding players faster than oil prices reaches the moon. Cubic Magus is an Oracle think tank unit that once per turn lets you place another Magus rearguard into your soul to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, return them in any order and draw a card. And once per turn you can pay 1 counterblast at the end of the battle she attacked, and you have 6 or more Magus units on the field to place her in stand position. For a card that's trying its hardest to appeal to the Minecraft crowd, Bushiroad had the audacity to give her a cleavage window which shows off non-sharp curves. Witch of Precious Stones Tanner is a shadow paladin unit. When placed lets you return up to 1 normal witch unit from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Your opponent sends the top 3 cards of their deck to the drop zone. If you didn't place back a normal witch unit and your opponent has less than 3 cards in their drop zone, and while on rear guard, you can rest this card, if you have a witch vanguard, to make your opponent call 2 grade 0 units from their drop zone to their rear guard circles with grade 1 or higher units on them. Imagine playing against Grand Blue when you ride her as your only grade 1 unit. Doing as much of the skill as possible backfires, and you just help fill up your opponent's toolbox. Bolt Shaker Dragon is a Dragon Empire unit while on rear guard, lets you pay 1 soul blast when your opponent's rear guard is retired during your turn to get 5k power. The only thing shaking here will be people's heads refusing to use this on a Eugene deck. Diabolos Charger Warren is a Dark States unit while on rear guard, lets you pay 1 counterblast when he attacks, while you're in final rush state to soul charge 1 card then give one of your units 10k power. Once again Bruce gets a decent promo card on top of all the good options he already had. Sylvan Horned Beast Materus is a Stoicheia unit that lets you discard a card when it intercepts to either call the top 2 card of your deck to the Guardian Circle or send them to the drop zone. Any gold paladin player who went through the G-era Get Good phase will tell you that this is a pretty bad card. The D series is getting 2 kinds of effect heal triggers in DBT-05 and DSS-02 for all 5 nations as to finally give players new defensive options that still can't protect you against over triggers. The ones in DBT-05 when placed in the Guardian Circle gets 15k shields if your opponent's attacking unit is attacking for the 2nd or more time this turn. For those confused, it just means that restanding units get cucked and decks that replace their units to extend their attacks are not affected by this card's ability. Rest in pieces Flagberg Dragon, you never got to be tier 2. The ones in DSS-02 when placed in the Guardian Circle gets 15k shields if your opponent's attacking unit's critical is 2 or higher and its critical wasn't increased by a trigger's ability or isn't originally at 2 crit. Outside of a few selected matchups, this thing is pretty useless. Now we get to the 2 big reasons you clicked on my video's thumbnail by accident. Thegrea's right line with a splash of Overlord cards in DBT-05. The grade 0 Thegrea is your typical D-series starter that will more so replace every other Keter Sanctuary starting Vanguard that isn't restricted to their ride lines because Busty Elf Knight. The grade 1 Thegrea when rode upon by the grade 2 Thegrea lets you call the top card of your deck in rest position. If it was a grade 2 or lower unit card, you return it to the top of your deck if you didn't call the card. And this card has the glitter mechanic. Bushiroad, you son of a bitch, you're trying to get me back into the game by creating a D-series deck that's both the waifu and gold paladin inspired. Let's go G-Cup Paladins. The grade 2 Thegrea when rode upon by a grade 3 Thegrea lets you add either a Thegrea or Maple card from the top 5 cards of your deck. And this card has the glitter mechanic. Now you have another 2 big reasons why you should run extra copies of the grade 1 and 2 Thegrea in your main deck as to increase your odds. The grade 3 light Thegrea when rode upon normally by another named Thegrea unit from hand also counts as a persona ride. Once per turn while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counterblast to call up to 1 grade 2 or lower unit from the top 5 cards of your deck. You call 2 units instead if you have Dark Thegrea in your soul. While on Vanguard, you can discard 1 card at the end of the battle she attacked, and you rode over Dark Thegrea this turn to stand one of your rear guards. And this card has the glitter mechanic. Holy cow, pun definitely intended. Not only is she top heavy, that even her text is so heavy that I had to lower the font size just to fit in her entire ability in this slide. But despite all that, her ability is pretty simple and decent. The grade 3 Dark Thegrea when rode upon normally by another named Thegrea unit from hand also counts as a persona ride. Once per turn while on Vanguard, you can retire 2 of your grade 2 or less rear guards. To retire one of your opponent's rear guards, you retire all rear guards in that column instead, if you have Light Thegrea in your soul. Once per turn while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counter blast and a discard at the end of the battle she attacked, and rode over Light Thegrea this turn to place her in stand position, but loses 1 drive check. And this card has the glitter mechanic. She went from her milkshakes bringing all the boys to the rear guard, to your opponent calling her mommy too. Atrocious Moth Girl Maple is half Keta Sanctuary and half Stoichenia. While in the drop zone, you can call her to rear guard when you ride a grade 3 or higher Vanguard and don't have another Maple card on the field. And while she's in glitter state, by having a Thegrea Vanguard, you get the ability, while she's on rear guard, you can pay 1 or more soul blast at the end of the battle she attacked to add 1 card in your soul with the same grade as the number of cards you soul blasted for her abilities cost. Then you place her into your soul. As Yu-Gi-Oh have taught me, any card that can recycle itself from the graveyard for little to no cost is going to be a staple in pretty much every build that can fit that card. Persona riding in Keta Sanctuary and Stoichenia is now a +1 in card advantage. Burning Horn Dragon when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast to add an Overlord card from the top 7 cards of your deck. You countercharge 1 card if you did not reveal a card. And while on rear guard, it gets 5k power whenever your Overlord Vanguard attacks. Is it just me, or is this just a homework copy of Agnero Dragon from the V series, and edited slightly, so it doesn't look too similar? Finally, Dragonic Overlord the End, while on Vanguard during your turn, gets 5k power, and cannot decrease drive checks if you have Dragonic Overlord in your soul. And once per turn while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counter blast and 2 discards at the end of the battle it attacked to place this card in stand position, but loses 1 drive check. Remember when I said Revival Selection 2021 was bad, because it didn't reprint previous versions of the End? Now we know why. While the V-Series version is still superior, this will at least make premium players have a cheaper way in making the Cross Legion work for them. And that concludes this Vanguard news video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments how Thegrea will be the most expensive deck in the set for 2 big reasons: alternate forms and Maple.